在落基山脚下，我第一次遇见了一位真正的马背上的牛仔。不仅如此，他还头顶多项牛仔竞技大赛的皇后桂冠。从精致优雅的温哥华岛来到广袤率真的阿尔伯塔西部大草原，我看到的不仅有电影中的飒爽英姿，更是从小刻苦训练，经历无数伤痛磨练出来的谦虚、内敛、坚韧、自律和对自己选择的生活方式的无比确定和热爱。在一个大部分人刚刚踏上社会的年龄，他已经在牧场上摸爬滚打了许久，成为了西部牛仔传统文化的代表。本期节目让我带你认识 Kyla Lightfoot， 一位了不起的加拿大女孩。
So, Kyla, thank you very much for inviting me to your barn. Before I bombard you with loads of questions, because I do have so many questions to ask you. You are the first, a real authentic cowgirl in front of me, just like straight out of the TV series I've ever met in my life, So I do have a lot of questions, but before that, I would like you probably clarify something, some special terms. People often use farmers, ranchers, cowgirls, cowboys, and horse persons interchangeably. So where is the difference?
So there is a big difference between like our ranchers and our farmers, and then our horsemen and our horsewomen. And so normally with our ranchers, what you'll see is they have cattle and they work with cattle. They have a cattle production, right? Whereas our farmers more so work with the land. And our horse people, our horsewomen, our horsemen, are strictly horses. A lot of the times like that will kind of go hand in hand. So a lot of ranchers will also be farmers and also horse people. Sometimes they're just farmers, sometimes they're just ranchers and farmers. But it does kind of go hand in hand, or it can be completely separate.
Yeah, so what about you? You are...
So for me, I'm just strictly a horsewoman. I've worked on cattle ranches my whole life, and I've, been around that, but as far as my family and everything, we've just been strictly horsewomen.
Okay, so how did you end up as a horsewoman? I mean, were you born into this, or you chose this on your own?
So I was born into it. My mother grew up riding horses, and she spent her time at her aunt's dairy farm out in Ontario, actually. And I was actually born in British Columbia, so I was born on Vancouver Island, which shocks a lot of people. Yeah. But horses are still out there. It's just more of an English scene. So we have a difference between Western riding and English riding.
Yeah, what do you mean the English scenes and Western scenes? How different?
English is more so like jumping. I don't know if you've seen those videos of horses jumping over like fences and stuff, and our Western is more of like our rodeo kind of scene. There's lots of Western disciplines. It's just a different style of riding. So I actually grew up on the island jumping horses. My mom was an English rider her whole life with a little bit of Western. And we moved out to Alberta when I was 5 years old, and that's when I got into the whole Western scene. Good? Alrighty. He's like, what's going on? You're on camera, buddy. Isn't that cool? You're on camera. So this horse went down to the World Show, and to the World Show, and he actually ended up placing top 10 down at Worlds. Yeah. Okay, easy, buddy.
It must have taken years of training to be a horse person. I mean, so looking back, what was the hardest thing that you've ever encountered?
Yeah, so I've been competing since I was about 9 up until I was about 20 years old. So I competed very hard for a very long time, and it was a lot of work, but it was rewarding in the end. It's, this way of life. There were times where, like, my friends after school, I remember growing up, which looking back now was not a big deal, but when I was in middle school, it was a big deal. My friends after school would go shopping or go to a party, but I didn't have that option. I had to come home and I had to do chores with the horses or, train for that upcoming show season. And so there were choices that had to be made, and this had to be prioritized over pretty much everything else in my life.
But did you understand this different lifestyle and compared with your peers, with your classmates?
I did, yes,
Right.
I did.
Okay.
I did understand it, and it was a decision, a choice that I had to make, but ultimately at the end of the day I loved horses and I loved the way of life, and so...
So you did have a very clear view of the future, to be a very successful horse person?
Yes, I
Wow.
did. Yes.
Very ambitious.
I can tell you a little bit about kind of my journey with horses too, if you're interested in that.
Yeah, of course.
So when we moved out here, I started working with rescue horses actually off the meat trucks. Okay. And a lot of them were very troubled horses, and so I worked with them and at the age of like 7 years old and got them to trust people so that they could hopefully find a home. So I started doing that. I was in 4-H, which in Canada is a big agricultural program for youth. There's like beef 4-H, there's horse 4-H. I was obviously in horse 4-H. And I ended up partnering up with a world-class trainer who had shown down at Worlds, and she's very well known in the industry, and I trained with her for many, many years. And I tried a lot of different disciplines. I went back to jumping, I did some reining, I did extreme cowboy, but I always came back to showing on the quarter horse circuit. A kid horse, for kids. So it's really, kids are kids, and it's important that they have a safe-ish horse. And so we look for a horse that has a really, really good mind. And that's really calm, and and that's what this guy is. And so he's used in a lot of my lesson programs. He's been used under like my trainer's lesson programs and for all the new beginner riders. Yes.
So how do you build up the trust between the horse and the people?
Like my trust between horses and so I've had a lot of accidents, and my mother's had a lot of accidents too. Scary ones where she's been out for 6 months, but having such a good and safe, reliable horse, I guess it's kind of like people. The more you get to know them, the more you get to trust them. Yeah. Oh boy. So he's pretty special. We love him. He's special to pretty much everybody that knows him. He's very well known. If you show quarter horses, then you know Easter, and he's been shown for 14 years. So a lot of people really know him and love him. Oh boy.
He's a famous one.
Alrighty. And as you can see, he's very lazy. So Come on.
What made someone to be a truly great horse person?
I think that with becoming a great horse person is just time. I don't think you can ever stop learning, because horses teach you something new every day. And
Like what?
like it just could be something as small as, you try this one maneuver and it doesn't work on this one horse, but it might work on another. And you have to figure out, because every horse is different, and things come up. There's, sometimes not so great circumstances, sometimes great circumstances that come up, and you just kind of have to figure it out as you go. And you always learn more, because they don't speak English, right? They don't speak our language. And so it's, you have to find that communication between an animal and a human. And I think becoming a really great horsewoman is just working through all of that and really putting your all in and accomplishing throughout your whole life, and still being willing to learn and being open to learn.
How's the horse culture for example, in Alberta, in Canada?
Like the horse cultures in...
You're an expert in this.
Yeah, it's huge in Alberta specifically. Alberta is known for like our rodeo scene.
Yeah.
We do have rodeos out in BC and Saskatchewan as well, and Quebec, and all the different provinces in Canada. But Alberta is our traditional Western rodeo scene.
Okay.
So it's a huge, the horse industry is huge out here. Pretty much when you leave the outskirts of the big cities like Calgary and Edmonton, in between that is all farmland and full of towns, and everywhere you look on the side of the road there's either cattle or horses or some kind of livestock.
So do a lot of people now still use the horses to manage the ranch?
It depends. There's a lot of ranches that have transitioned more so to ATVs. It's just faster, it's easier, more efficient, right? So there are ranches that sometimes still do it the traditional way with horses. Sometimes there's ranches that blend both, where we'll drive, the cattle up with ATVs, and then we'll use horses to sort them. But yeah, it kind of goes 50-50.
Okay. So what's the role of a horse person in this culture? What do you guys do?
In this culture, you know what? I think it's just still having a passion for it, and it's still just showcasing, because all of rodeo, every event in rodeo, it represents something from our past, right? So like our tie-down roping, that's used to show how our cowboys used to doctor the cows and still do nowadays. So it's a way of really promoting our heritage and our Western heritage, and continuing to honor that and celebrate it. Oh, that's hard. It's hard to say.
在这期的采访当中呢，涉及到的一些非常多的很好的英语表达方式，我呢特别为大家整理成了一个 PDF 的文件。如果你想要进一步的去研读、了解英语母语者在平时沟通的时候自然流露出来的那些表达方式，或者想要提高自己的英语发音能力的话，立刻关注这支影片下方的说明栏，点击链接，直接获得这份我为大家准备的免费的学习语料。通过真实的英语对话，让我们一起养成自信的英语表达能力。